Alright, so I wandered all over the parking lot just to find this little spot on the other side of the road. Looks like I got 7.9 miles to Clingman's Dome. Let's go. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning and 65 degrees and pretty wet. It's raining, it's humid, but it feels amazing. The trail is still beautiful. Well, it's only been about an hour and a half, and I am closer to Clingman's Dome than I am to where I started. So it's going pretty well. Let's keep going. So in June, somebody delivered this notebook to the shelter, and there are people writing their names, writing down their destination, all that cool stuff. So I finally got some pretty fall colors on my hike, and this is probably the sunniest part of the day that I've had so far too. No fantastic views yet or anything to show you guys, but hopefully we'll see something at Clingman's Dome when I get there in a little bit. Made it to the top of Mount Love. What a view! I guess you can see why they call it the Smokies. Wow, this part is actually really beautiful, with the sun coming in through the trees on this little stream or whatever. Ah, sunshine. All right, I made it to the top of Clingman's Dome. Pretty foggy, but still a nice overlook. Mom.
Right.
Tennessee.
So I made it to Clingman's Dome, 8.5 miles in about 4 hours flat. It's pretty touristy around there, you know, a lot of people. It is the highest point on the AT, so that's pretty cool to see. But overall, this was a really nice hike. Not a ton of people. I maybe saw a dozen my whole way up until I got here. Pretty foggy, not a lot of sights or views. But the weather's really nice, you know, mid 60s, not super hot. Now I'm just headed back to the shelter and I'll spend the night there and then I'll head out in the morning. So a little ways back, a day hiker asked me, how far does this trail go? And I had to chuckle a little bit because the first time I set foot on the AT, I was a day hiker and I asked somebody the exact same thing. So it's just funny how everything comes around full circle, I guess. I just passed my shelter that I was gonna stay at a little bit ago, and I think I'm gonna keep hiking. I think I'm gonna go all the way back to Newfound Gap, back to my car. It's not quite 5 o'clock yet, and I've got about 4.5 miles. So that's just over 2 hours of daylight. So I'm gonna do it. So the fog has finally lifted. The sun's about to go down and I've got a beautiful look over the valley and at the mountain there. I don't know if the video is gonna do it justice. But I'm almost done. I think I've got less than a mile to go. So I'm just gonna knock it out, even though my knees are on fire. All right, this is my last ascent off of the AT. Newfound Gap is right up here. Then I'm gonna head home. Took me a little under 9 hours. Did about 18 miles with a tiny bit of extra hiking. About 4,400 feet elevation gain total throughout the day. And let's see what the view looks like. Beautiful.